Joe Biden will be the nominee, but it's becoming increasingly difficult because he's imploding. And it's not even him who's imploding per se, it's his campaign. It's everyone around him who's just decided that they're throwing him overboard. In one day, you have 20 leaks coming out of that thing. Plus then you have the leaks about the people who aren't in the campaign, like Obama. It's just a travesty what's going on there. They're totally like imploding. And it's not even Biden.
Amazing to watch. Tell us what you mean by leaks to us regular non-reporter people. What do you mean by leaks? Is a leak that Biden is only reliably with it from 10 to 4 every day? Like, is that
that would count.
Kind of stuff?
Let's say something that's reported from somebody in the campaign, which is obviously not an official statement from the campaign, like people going rogue from within the organization to tell the press what's going on.
What's their motivation for doing that?
Well, I think what's happening is that obviously everybody saw that horrific mess on Thursday, and they have lost confidence in Biden as the nominee. They don't think that he can beat Trump. They saw him. The thing that was the worst thing about that performance is obviously we all knew that Biden was senile and he was doing the same types of performances all along. But the problem on Thursday was that he was directly juxtaposed with Trump. Like, Trump was literally on the stage with him, and there was a direct comparison that was made, and it made Biden look even worse. So they all watched that. They panicked. They have decided, it seems, that there's been some sort of common understanding among Democrats, which, I mean, I understand, that they don't think Biden can win against Trump. And obviously, the number one, it's not even, the Democratic Party doesn't have to do with any particular, policy even anymore. It's just their only policy is keep Trump out of power. And Biden has said as much about his candidacy in 2020, that all he's there to do is to just get Trump out of power. So that is the goal. That is the singular focus. And they don't have confidence that Biden can achieve that singular goal. So they are basically trying to sabotage him and force him to get out if he won't willingly get out.
Yes. Do you think they'll be successful at getting him out?
Honestly, I've never seen anything like this. This is they're totally exploding. Like I said, I'm trying to hold on to what my reasoning and sane brain says, which is that Biden is going to be the nominee. You have to think about it in terms of, you have to think about this pragmatically, obviously. This isn't just like a philosophical debate. These people have early voting starting in September. All of their money has been raised for Joe Biden. Not that that's actually the biggest issue in the world, because they can apparently, I've spoken to people who kind of know how to do this, and apparently they can make a new PAC for whatever XYZ new ticket it is and transfer the money. But nonetheless, they have raised all this money for Joe Biden. They had primaries where people voted for Joe Biden. They would have to parachute in somebody who has no staff, no advisors, no campaign. You realize you don't just wake up one day and walk into a presidential campaign. Like, that apparatus has to be built. You need people who are your people getting in there. It's not a day. It's definitely not. It's not easy to just walk in and fill in like that. So, all of that being said, it's not very realistic that they will replace him. However, what's going on right now is the most insane sabotage campaign I've ever seen. I've never even seen this against Trump, who is like the king of being sabotaged by people around him.
Yeah, wow, it's unbelievable. Real quick on your point about juxtaposition, everyone talked about the biggest moment of the debate being when Trump said, "I don't know what he said at the end of the sentence, and I don't think he knows either." Yes, but the other quip was when Biden, for some reason, said, "We beat Medicaid," or something.
Yeah.
And Trump said, instantly came back, like as fast as he did his Rosie O'Donnell line in the very first debate of them all. He said, yeah, he beat Medicaid, he beat it to death. And if the whole point of the debate was to show who's with it, then that quickness.
Well, that's it. Trump always has that. He comes up with a thick burn, with 0 seconds reaction time, And that's his whole thing. And he's amazing in that those contexts where A, his back's up against the wall and there's pressure on him, and B, where he has to kind of just like freestyle. He's the best. Whereas Biden is the worst in that context. And that contrast definitely shows. But all this to say is, like, I don't really get, I mean, you know, if you go on Twitter, and God knows how real this is, but when you go, although honestly, in this context, I think it probably is a good reflection because Twitter is all just political people who do politics for a living, basically. It's Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is next man up. And they've all basically decided that it's K-Hive on Twitter and that we're going with that, which is kind of funny because I don't know if this is a cope or if this is like trying to be ironic, but Kamala Harris can't win against Trump.
No.
Like, she's zanned out and unlikable.
Yes. More than Hillary, if that's possible. To your point, Clyburn yesterday, and Clyburn, of course, is the kingmaker who made Joe in the last campaign. And he said, this is all in on Joe, but if Joe resigns, then he says all the Democratic support is going behind Kamala.
Right. Like, I guess that makes sense. I mean, she is part of the ticket. And there's people who live in a fantasy world that Gavin Newsom is coming in, which I think is just sad. It's total fantasy. First of all, Gavin Newsom actually wants to be president. He's not going to come into some organization in shambles where he has like 48 hours to mount a presidential campaign. Like,
so that's right. The person would have to be willing to be a sacrificial lamb for the cause.
Exactly.
Kind of like who did Obama go up against? Senate campaign when Jack Ryan flamed out. I love the guy.
Oh God, that's too deep cuts for me. I have no idea.
Alan Keyes. So Alan Keyes. So I love Alan Keyes. So Jack, remember the stories back in 2004, and Obama was running for the Senate in Illinois, and Jack Ryan got a divorce from like that celebrity woman. There was like a woman on some show, and they got divorced like a long time ago. She was in like Star Trek or something, and they got divorced, but then the divorce papers came out. Somehow they got leaked, and he was like an abusive person to his wife, and that came out, and he resigned in shame from the race, and they're like, oh, we're out of time, let's put in Alan Keyes. And Alan Keyes isn't from Illinois, but he's a black guy, and he's actually amazing, but he just got crushed. It was like Jack Ryan was going to win in Illinois, and Obama won 70% of the vote against Alan Keyes. So the point is, whoever comes in has the risk of being Alan Keyes'd and getting just like at the end of their political career.
Well, that's it. It'll be a crazy scramble. Obviously, the media will do everything they can to kind of prop it up, but it's not realistic. I guess Kamala Harris is the only realistic person that can replace him, but it's not very. So, like, is it okay to be? I've chosen since Monday to be a little bit giddy. I've decided, hey, let's like totally enjoy this week as like so fun. Like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Oh, totally. This is the best week ever, just for the record.
Okay. Okay, I want to make sure I'm on the right. I'm matching the Breitbart tone at the editorial meeting about like this is amazing happening right now. Okay, we're on the same page.
It really is amazing in so many ways. It's unprecedented. This is insane. Basically, the entire Democratic machine has just decided that they are ditching their candidate in the middle of the summer with like 2 seconds till the convention, and they're imploding. And the nominee hasn't agreed to this.
Yeah, what are they going to do at the convention? We made the point yesterday, the other day, that the media can't drive by this. You know, they can lie about something and then drive by and we move on and get away with it, but they can't drive by this because Joe has to talk again, and he's not going to do better in his George Stephanopoulos interview.
Right.
I just want to remind everyone, first of all, George Stephanopoulos, of course, was the communications director for Bill Clinton, but be aware of the jump cuts. I make this point all the time, Emma Jo. Every time you see a jump cut, they edit something.
Listen,
so be aware of the jump cuts.
Notice that, by the way, it's a pre-tape. This is not a live interview. Not only is it going to be jump cuts, but he gets to do this this interview during his waking hours from 10 to 4, presumably.
10 to 4.
10 to 4. Can you imagine? He has like a Spanish schedule. Like, have you ever been to Madrid? And it's like the stores kind of open at 11, and then at like 2 p.m. it like closes because people are gonna have some coffee and a nap.
That's our president. Oh man.